Liberals gauge, obviously, it's the right time. What do you see as the challenges for the other parties right now?
The main thing probably is just getting their message line across. I mean, the Liberals came right out of the gate today, framing the election, explaining to Canadians as quickly as they possibly could why they think an election is important now. So it's going to be incumbent on the other parties to get out there as quickly as possible and explain themselves as well, decide whether or not they're going to participate fully in this. I mean, obviously they have no choice, but at least appear to be anxious to participate, or continue a storyline about not being terribly excited about participating in a campaign at this point, and saying that the government probably shouldn't have gone now. It's a really tough decision to make, and they don't have a lot of time to make it.
How do you see campaigning during a pandemic? Last time we had an election, we were still ahead of that curve. Now, although things have let up in the summer, it could change very quickly in the coming weeks.
Yeah, and it appears to be changing really quickly. I mean, all the numbers, particularly where I am in Ontario, the numbers are climbing pretty rapidly. If you follow any epidemiologists through this, they're definitely throwing up the warning signs for September, particularly when kids head back to school. From a campaigning perspective, it's a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. Our tradition in Canada is face-to-face events, knocking on people's doors, having conversations in neighborhoods, inviting people to town halls, having candidates debates, those sorts of things. Those are all very face-to-face intensive, often with large crowds of people. The entire concept of virtual campaigning is relatively new everywhere. And in Canada, we're not particularly well practiced at it. There are some candidates that have been better at it in the past, but as an overall candidate, as an overall election strategy, virtual campaigning is a pretty unknown quantity, and this is a tough time to be trying it out.
How much of a gamble is this when you do factor in COVID and the fact that we are headed into September, we are in a fourth wave, according to Canada's top doctor, and we know the Delta variant is far more aggressive than anything else we've seen?
Yeah, from my own perspective, I think it's an enormous gamble. And the reason I think that's the case is that elections are run, they require people's attention to some degree, at least enough to get them motivated to vote. That's what I study. What is it that motivates people to vote, and what kinds of choices do they make, and why do they make those choices? And I've been saying to people today that this is really going to be a campaign about two kinds of fear. The fear for your pocketbook. There's definitely going to be a lot of campaigning around what does the future look like after the pandemic? How will we recover from this? And there's no question that the Liberals are going to try and frame it that way, talking about the need for them to have a solid government to be able to move forward and work on the economy. But on the other side of it, there's going to be a lot of fear about the effects of the campaign itself. The fact that people will be attempting to go door to door, the fact that there will be some effort to try and get people together and talk, and the challenge of doing that. And I think a lot of people who are worried about what might just happen with their kids when they return to school in September are going to have a tough time stomaching the idea that we might be making this worse. So I think it's a tough hill to climb. Let
me ask you, just before I have to let you go, about the NDP releasing, I'm going to call it an early platform. It almost seems like they want to jump ahead of the Liberals getting anything out, just so if there is any crossover, they can say, well, we had it first.
Yeah, I have to say, this is probably one of the most risk-taking lead-ups to an election I've seen in a long time, and that is definitely against the general way of doing things over the last 20 years, mainly because it gives people time to start shooting holes in your platform. But it also has some benefits, because they're going to be able to explain themselves to Canadians right out of the gate. They're going to be able to answer that Liberal call around what are you going to do after the pandemic, and they're going to have some straight answers, and they're going to be able to hand out some pretty clear guidelines to people on what they can expect should they elect an NDP government.
Yeah, but of course, an election has not yet officially been called. We'll slide that in right now.
No, it has not.
Tim Abray, appreciate you joining us on the program. Thanks so much.